Welcome to AITSM show. Today we'll be talking about scaling your automation journey. Today we are joined with Fernando Baldin. A little description about, a little introduction about him. He is graduated in public relations with an MBA in administration, ITIL Master V3, HDI KCS, and a member of Strategic Advisory Board of HDI Brazil Helpdesk Institute. Working for more than 22 years in the IT area, working in large customers in Brazil, and currently holding the position of Country Manager of Automation Edge. Welcome to our show, and we would look forward to a value from IT pros like you. Thank you.
Hi,
So,
Anand.
yeah,
First of all, it's nice to be here. Look, I'd like to thank you for the invite. And let's talk about automation, which is something I'm really passionate about.
right, definitely. So, uh, in today's world, maybe company starts with little bots here and there, little automation here and there, but when it comes to the value out of it, or scaling the automation and moving forward with more and more automation and more value, uh, so what could be your suggestion for scaling the your automation journey?
And I always tell customers that I always tell them about that fast food dilemma. I don't know if you ever heard of that, which is if you ask someone if they can do a better burger than some fast food chains, or whatever, they probably say, yes, I can do a better burger myself. But
Mhm.
if you ask them, okay, but can you do millions and millions of burgers in one day? Can you do it by
Yeah,
yourself? And they said, no,
no.
that's different. And that's the point. I mean, when when our customers or in the market, companies start their journey, they are thinking on that little, burger. I'm gonna do it very that bot. Let's turn the burger to a bot. Oh, that little bot. We have been spending so much time with him. He's almost our friend. But they
Mhm.
always have to think of, okay, but one thing is to do one, but when we have 200, 300, which types of governance, controls, tools should we have in place in
Right.
order to be able to create, maintain, and improve the usage of bots? And that's, I mean, that's the first step. Do not think that just because you're doing a better bot here, you can do 300 bots this way. So, I mean, that's the first point. And I always like to push that to governance, to control in the sense of quality control, not control in
Mhm.
the sense of let I have to control everything that is being
Mhm.
done in my company. So I think those points, if I could point out
Mhm.
one strategic thought people should think of is, okay, do not think of your automation journey as the first burger you can do better than uh, some fast food chain. Think of it as a scale from the beginning. Otherwise, when you go a little further in the journey,
Mhm.
either you have to do all over again, or you're going to have to that burden that will probably cost you a lot of time, effort, and things like that.
So yes, so most probably beginning with the end in mind, like to scale right from the start, you must have a plan for, right?
Exactly. And that comes with in the KPIs. You should have KPIs in place. For example, what is your bot efficiency? How many
Mhm.
times did it run properly?
Mhm.
In the percentage. So,
Mhm.
because I hear a lot of people say, oh, I had that number of bots, that number of bots.
Mhm.
And I always think to myself, okay, but the number of bots without the success rate of those bots,
Mhm.
there's no use for that. The big question is, which one is better? I
Mhm.
have 100 bots and 99% efficiency, so 99% of the time they run properly, or I have 300 bots with 50% efficiency, so my success rate is half. So which one is better, so
Mhm.
that's why the governance control is important. Otherwise you kind of fall into that place of, oh, I have that number of bots and all that.
Hmm. So the what would be the challenges the companies face while actually uh, having this initial stage of the journey, and then probably when should they think they should move towards automation and journey towards more automation and scaling it?
I think that one of the key points is to start doing it. I mean, the start phase is the first steps, because you are not only doing a technology or adding a technology to your business,
Mm-hmm.
you are changing the way people think about how they work. So that's very strong. So you're going to change activities, you're going to change the expectation from the customer once you start to bring more speed to it. So people have to think differently on how they interact with bots. It's not a matter of replacing. It's not the case, at least in the companies we have been doing automation here in Brazil. Most of the time, they just kind of empower the employees with more time so they
Mm-hmm.
can be closer to the business and all that. So I would say the starting phase is critical. And also, I would say that uh, that governance and control, think of hyperscale from the beginning, is a key.
Mm-hmm.
There's some other, we're going to talk by the end of this talk here about some five critical points
Mm-hmm.
that I'm going to leave it to the end. And then, so people that are
Interesting.
hearing this, I'm
Yes,
going to key
interesting.
points you should think of, very straightforward key points that this starting has to, you know, the company or the customer has to pay attention to. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
they will fall into some. I like to say the black holes of technology, which is you don't know how you got there, you
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to get out of there, and
Right.
you get stuck. You know.
And I have observed means customers are using some kind of obsolete technologies and then they stick to it, and then there is some kind of like say the future technologies are coming up, and every time a new technology comes, so they are not able to adjust it. So what is your point of view there?
I see. When I first started working with automation was way back, even before RPA.
Mm.
As I tell our partners, I was in the stone age of automation, where we used to do a lot of scripting, a lot of what we call nowadays ITPA, IT process automation. So it's sort of the dinosaurs of the automation era. But so what happened there is that, and I think that's the point here. The main struggle we had back then was, okay, I do through database connection API. And I think at some point we started doing some automations, and we will struggle because most of the times, or many projects, the customer didn't was a third party application,
Mhm.
was a global application. They didn't have access to any of those connections were required back then.
Mhm.
When RPA came to the scene, we
Right.
were, as the dinosaurs, we were quite skeptical. Oh, interface automation, that's not going to work. Look at those guys moving mouse, keyboard strokes. What is this? Come on, we're the masters of automation. And then we got convinced that, and that's where I'm going to do our point, is that the interface automation, or RPA as we call it these days, came to sort of solve an issue that was there already and is still going to be there, which is, unfortunately, corporate applications are not thought to work together. This is changing a little bit, but still, they're not thought to work together. And RPA, as a platform, enhanced that possibility of allowing uh, companies to make those different applications to work together
Right.
in whatever possibility they bring to them. It could be an API, it could be their interface, it could be through a database. So I
Mhm.
think that was the main point RPA grows so fast. It enables the company to create their digital processes
Mhm.
without being limited by their own applications, especially old ones, legacy applications, and all that.
Right. Right. So Another day we were talking about something about platform versus code, and there was some kind of dilemma in developer's mind. So could you explain more about it?
Yes, that's one of the key points because at the end of the day, when the bot is working,
Mm-hmm.
you see the customer looks at it and say, "Look, I don't care if it's a, I don't know, Python scripting or if it's a platform.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it's working, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And that's we're back to that first point we mentioned, and that's where that little advice you gave of think of hyperscale from the beginning
Right.
really pays off. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you think of that little bot, that little burger you did, that is
Mm-hmm.
incredible, much better than a fast food burger. Then you think, oh, this is why buy those platforms? Why use those platforms? And uh, and I always like to compare that to the ERP market,
Right.
right? Enterprise resource planning market. Why nobody develops ERP these days?
Mm-hmm.
Because they look at it and say, look, why am I going to spend so much time, so much effort to build something that is already built in the market? It's
Well,
working, it works better, cheaper, and faster.
mm-hmm.
Why? And even if I can do that, let's say I can create an ERP myself, that is fantastic. I will struggle to become a middle, to have all the features that's already in place. When I get there, the market will move, I mean, two steps further. Oh my goodness, I have to pay all those. So it's the same with RPA. So coding, it's interesting. I'm not saying that you cannot do scripting bots. It's not that, but definitely it will put you into a dilemma, which is, okay, how can I develop more? How can I maintain more? When you have 10, you're going to start feeling something's hard to do. When you have 200, then you'll be sure, oh my goodness, it's almost impossible to keep those things working unless you are an IT company, unless
Mm.
you are specifically and very focused on that. Otherwise, you struggle with that.
Correct, correct. And there would be a lot of dependencies on developers in that case, if you are going
Definitely.
that way, right?
Definitely.
So, so like now you are talking about like the five things. So I am really much interested in those five things, which is pretty much required for automation, scaling automation initiative, which you actually
Yes,
also. Yeah,
let me, yeah, let me bring that to our audience.
yeah,
Just feel free to agree or not agree, but maybe that could help you in your automation journey.
right.
For the first point, 5 points you should look into it before starting your automation journey is first, think of platform versus code scripting. Think of it. Do
Mm-hmm.
not just go along with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying you should buy a platform or you should go scripting. I'm just saying think of it on the hyperscale. Think of it on your current capacity of your team. That's the first.
Right.
Second, the citizen developer dilemma, and that's where the scripting I think fails to help, which is okay. You can create a single group of developers that will
Mm-hmm.
create all the bots in your company, but they will become a bottleneck for your journey.
Exactly.
All they only have a specific number of hours in the day they can work. They cannot
Mm-hmm.
work while they're sleeping,
Mm-hmm.
while they're in the weekends. So the citizen developer, which I think that would be a good second podcast for us, is it's not for business analysts to develop. Forget about that. Oh, anyone can develop RP. It's not the point. The question is, a citizen developer is the guy who can bring more opportunities
Mm-hmm.
faster. He knows the business, his or the department. He can bring you more opportunities, and the more he knows about automation, the better the opportunities he'll bring to you. So that's the point. It's not about developing. This is someone can do that for him, but
Correct.
he can bring that. And the future is bright, right? There's going to be tons of new technologies.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think platforms are faster to adopt those, to connect, to interact. So fourth would be creating your own AI. So your platform should enable you to create your own algorithms.
Right.
I'm not saying package algorithms are not good. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just saying they are not a key differentiator of your business. So create. And the fourth The fifth thing I'd like to point is build to last. So
Mm,
think of RPA as not as a some temporary solution, not as some add-on to your ERP.
mhm,
Think on RPA just like an ERP system. When you're implementing ERP, you're not thinking of, oh, I'm
mm.
going to change this in 1 year or two. You think of 10 years relationship with that vendor, correct? So think of RPA the same way as a long-term relationship, adding value, enabling your company to go digital, regardless of any legacy or any situation we have in place nowadays.
Beautiful concept. Yeah, this is the right uh, concept, and you actually do not go for a short term win, but also going for a long term basis and long term relationship and long term continuous winning. Maybe someday
Exactly.
that another day you were saying 1% degree of difference. Can you explain that? You had explained it very beautifully.
Yeah, those are the, especially in the beginning, the decisions you make, right? So it's like that rocket when you're launching a rocket to the moon. If they're 1 degree, if the rocket is 1 degree not in the right place, after he reaches out the space, the difference of distance of that one little degree from the launching
Hmm.
becomes a huge difference. So that's this coding platforms, all those choices you're going to make is that little 1 degree. You should really, at the beginning, it doesn't make much difference. Like, what is 1 degree here? Come on. But as you go along in your journey, the 1 degree might take you exactly where you want or far away from where you're hoping to be with automation.
True, true, true. So, before we come to the conclusion of this discussion, do you think I would have asked some other question or some most important question?
I think we have covered a lot of the basics of anyone that is starting their automation journey. But a good question would be, which platform is the best? Of course, I'll say Automation Edge. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding with you. This is the momentum of just. I'm a sales guy. I have to sell, but just kidding. I think we covered everything very direct way, and basically I think people should think of it. If I could send a message, a final message would be, and I always like to tell this, people sometimes think of RPA as some additional, like Office. I
Mhm,
tell people, look, RPA is not Office because Office is something people think, oh, this is for the end user, just
mhm,
install everywhere, let them play.
mhm,
And I always say, look at RPA as a, and to me, it's very similar to the ERP market.
mhm,
So long-term relationship, you're going to have to know. So you're going to have to learn. Most companies, successful companies, know their ERP at some level. They reach out for partners at the second level, but they have to know business rules. They have to know some tweak here and there, some maintenance points here and there. So that's look at our RP project as a RPA project as an ERP project. Long term partnership, technology has to be updated from time to time, and core to your business.
right, right. And your own AI implementation, which could be flexible enough to uh,
Exactly.
do that. Amazing, amazing insights from your discussion, and I actually I would be keep asking for more, but I think what we can do here is we can add further more episodes to these follow-up episodes for these, and we can keep bringing you for our interviews. Right. Thanks a lot for your value added and useful insights. We love to have you again on our show. Thank you very much, Fernando.
Thank you, Anand, and it's a pleasure to be here. And to give you a suggestion, next time we could do one only about the citizen developer dilemma. That would be a funny one to do as well. So thank you very much. All the best.
Yeah, thank you very much. So If you have liked this conversation, please share it generously, and let us bring your feedback and suggestions. What the questions we should ask to our guests and IT pros. Thank you. Watch this space for more and more value to come up in the next few sessions and next podcasts. Thank you very much. Bye bye.